So there's just a few types of objections, right? I know a lot of people say they hear all different things of objections, like hundreds of objections, but they all boil down to the same things. You already know what they are. We all know what they are. If you sell products, services, or programs, right, you know that it always comes down to these things no matter what. No matter what they say the objection is or how they phrase it or what have you, it always comes down to time, money. They're either stalling, right, or the product, right? So time, money, they're stalling, or product, okay? So let's focus on time, right? Most people will say, I don't have the time. It's just not, I can't implement it within that, that time. The thing is time is the biggest excuse and the most bullshit objection anybody could ever give, right? Everybody has 24 hours in a day. If you sleep for 8 hours, you have 16 hours to be able to do the things that you need to get done, right? So you sleep for 8 hours, right? You sleep for 8 hours, you go to work for 8 hours, that leaves you another 8 hours. What are you doing with that extra 8 hours throughout the course of the day, right? You have 8 hours to do whatever it is, to handle whatever you need to handle outside of sleeping and outside of work. That's a lot of time. Think about what you get done at work. If you get you get a lot of stuff done at work, that's 8 hours. You have a whole nother 8 hours to do that same amount of effort, work, energy into something that you want to do, right? Whatever your product, your service, or your program is, people have the time to do it. Well, they say, oh, I got to spend time with my kids. Awesome. If I actually spent 2-3 hours with my wife and kids every single day, they would probably go insane. My energy is through the roof. They would be like, I would drive them crazy just because they have so much with me at that point in time, right? They generally will see me for, an hour, 2 hours, and then that's all that they can handle, right? So that still leaves me with in between 6 and 7 hours to do whatever it is that I need to focus on outside of 8 hours of work and 8 hours of sleeping, right? So time can never be the issue. Think about all the time people spend doing things that aren't necessarily going to move them forward. So when you have a product, your service, or your program, say it's fitness, right? I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to eat right. Okay, you had time to go eat a cheeseburger. That's still time, right? Now take the time, all the time that you have eating cheeseburgers, swiping on Facebook, doing whatever the stuff that isn't moving you in a direction of where you want to go that you don't necessarily need to do, that's not going to benefit you, and add that up and figure out that people have ample amount of time. Time is never an excuse for them not doing your product, service, or your program, right? So think about it like this. Somebody says, Joe, I just don't know if I have the time to actually implement the stuff. Dude, that's exactly why you need to get started. And I totally understand that time is an issue. You're a busy man. And that's why I think that my program is the best program for you, because the people that don't have the time to actually, that don't have a lot of time throughout the course of the day are the ones that are going to benefit the most and that see the best results in my program, because they pay 100% more attention to it during the time that they do implement in my program, right? So I totally understand that, you're super busy, time is tight. That's exactly why I think my program is the best program for you, because the people that have the least amount of time are the ones that benefit the most from my program. Let's go ahead and get you started with that today, right? Time is never an issue, because think about it. When you spend money on something, you're going to put the time into it, right? If they think the product, the service, or the program is valuable and going to solve their problem that they have, they're going to figure out a way to actually invest the time into it. When you think about what's important to somebody, if something's extremely important, they figure it out, right? Time's never the issue. So you need to start having and coming up with questions that are going to ask about and relative to time to get them to want to do your product, your service, or your program. Time's never the issue, right? I know you don't have a lot of time. That's exactly why I think my program is the best program for you, because the people that don't have time benefit the most. They have the best results. They see the most amount of income coming back into their business because they take it seriously, right? So when you think about time, don't utilize time as an excuse. Or people will say another thing like, I have kids, I just don't have the time for that. Don't ever blame your kids as a reason why you can't do something. they can't even defend themselves, right? They can't even defend themselves. Don't use your kids as an excuse. I have triplets. I started all my businesses while my triplets, they're not even 3 years old yet. I've started all of my businesses doing that, all of the products, all of the things, all the sales, training people, hiring employees. I've done all that while having triplets, and I still have time for my family. You can too. So can they. So can everybody else. That's not a valid excuse. There's always time. Figure out what it is. Walk them through the process. Show them how this is going to benefit them. Show them how it's going to serve them. And I guarantee you, you'll start to winning over and over and over again with this.